Hey everybody, it's me, Barb. And I want to continue to talk about some of the principles of positive intelligence, but give, in this case, a really hands-on lesson in some of the things we'll be talking about in the workshop. And the workshop on the 28th. Today's learning was brought to you by a conversation I had with a client earlier in the week. And the client is really trying to do a new thing and do it consistently. And the concern is I've tried, to do this kind of thing, and you can think about anything, tracking your calories, working out, learning a new language, starting a new business, thinking about retiring. I mean, there's a different myriad of different things that we want to do. But for this client, they were really concerned. They wanted to do a thing that requires tracking. They've tried it in the past. They come out of the gate running enthusiastically, and then the whole thing fizzles and they feel like such a failure. And then this led me into a conversation of a setback can and should be expected. Like, there will always be a setback, and it can be such a learning opportunity, or it can be viewed as some colossal failure, and it makes you give up the whole good thing. And some of the language around this has to do with growth mindset. So this ends up being the work of Carol Dweck from Stanford, and this is her definition. In a fixed mindset, people believe their basic qualities, like intelligence or talent, are fixed traits. They're born with it, they can't change it, and it's where all of their confidence and value comes from. It is what it is, this is what I've got, and there's nothing more to do about it. In a growth mindset, people believe that their basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. So a growth mindset means we are all able to continuously improve. And then there are several ways that a fixed mindset sees things and a growth mindset sees things. For example, one is how we approach a setback, where a fixed mindset sees a setback as affirmation that all they have is what they have, and so a setback means they weren't meant to do the thing. Whereas a growth mindset would say, well, of course there's going to be a setback. Let's learn from the setback, what created the setback, and how do we move forward? Because in order to move forward in our growth mindset, it's going to be hard. The next is challenges, where a fixed mindset says, if you have a challenge, a fixed mindset would say, yeah, right, you know what, you're not so smart. That's why this is a struggle for you. You weren't meant to do it. You are all that you can be, and that's that. Whereas a growth mindset looks at a challenge and says, of course it's going to be hard. We knew it was going to be hard. This is a challenge we can anticipate. And in order to move forward and grow from the thing we're wanting to do, then we're going to have to face the fact that it's going to be hard, it's going to take time, we're going to have setbacks, and that's just all part of the process. Effort in a fixed mindset, it shouldn't be hard. After all, all of your capabilities are what you are born with. And if you're meant to do it, it ought to be easy. Whereas a growth mindset says effort. It's all going to take effort. And in order to do it, we're going to have to go back at it, apply ourselves again in order to keep growing. And then finally, and this one really hit home with me, is feedback. In a fixed mindset, we don't want feedback because there's nothing we can do about it, right? We're born with our talents, we're born with our smarts. There's no real benefit for me to hearing any feedback because there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about it anyway. Revisit all the other things I've just shared with you. Whereas in a growth mindset, we listen to feedback and we say, hey, great. I am aware of the difficulty. I appreciate your observations, and this can be valuable information for me to consider as I work toward this thing I want to do. So it circles back with my client who said no one had ever told them before that doing the thing we were working on would be hard, that it was going to take time to implement, that there would be stumbles along the way that we would work through and learn from. And part of their discouragement had always been that they were under the impression it all ought to be easier. And so being failing or having a setback meant for them, I'm just not meant to do this next thing. So I really want you to consider that along your growth journey, or perhaps reassess whether you're in a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And if you want to talk about it more, come to my workshop, and then there'll be a virtual one after that. In the meantime, ciao for now.